having that same insight and revelation came from the fact that they knew how to access that Sabbath day of rest with him. So when they came back from spying out the land of Canaan, because first off, spying out the land insinuated that they were going to battle. So what was the physical rest they got? Because if you read further on, after they crossed over into the promised land, they just were met with more battles, more war, and land and territory, right? Like, in my opinion, I think it was much later when the kings started coming about that they got to experience the rest in the palace life. But nonetheless, I want to give that imagery because what I'm trying to show you is it's not necessarily just like you need to sit still and breathe and I'm gonna help you regroup from this season and I'm gonna wash you off. It's like an invitation and intimacy, so you could do like God did, look back at the finished work that he did in your life, so that that was God, so that you don't doubt that moving forward after that. And it is something that we do weekly, but with the fulfillment of Jesus Christ, you can access that place of rest with him always. But, Caleb and Joshua are a really good example to that, because in the way that they got stuck in the wilderness, they couldn't cross over because they weren't actively resting in the Lord, which is resting in who he is and that identity, versus the ones that did do it. And then they were called to the forefront to be a leader because they weren't left out of his rest. And so the Hebrews one is a really good one because it kind of shows us that it is an actual thing, like the Israelites where they passed away in the wilderness. Yes, that can happen. But in the way the Lord taught me is when you deny him and yourself that placement of just sitting together in intimacy, and you just go through life doing the same old, you're going to experience a lot of imbalances that are not necessary in a walk with him. Like, yes, the enemy attacks and does different things, but they're not necessary because Jesus wants to meet you in that need and that place of identity and that wrestling area within your heart or whatever's going on, to like help it shake off and break off. And again, another scriptural example is when Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath day rest, and the Pharisees got offended. Like, how could you heal him? Instead of seeing that he literally caused the man's limb to grow back. Because that in itself is what Jesus wants to do with us in areas in our life where we were maimed or lamed, coming out of different warfare seasons, coming out of maybe a day you just had a terrible week and you just need that day with the Lord to kind of heal you and